Hello, Brain to Belly family. This is Coach Yayoi here with Small Bites. So today I wanted to continue on the Toxic 10. Remember, we were talking last week about self-worth and self-loathing. Well, today I wanted to talk about the next ones on the list, which are imposter syndrome and oh crap, now I just lost it. Darn, it's imposter syndrome, and I can't remember it all of a sudden because I got all nervous. And stress, that's what it is. Okay, so I want to talk about imposter syndrome and stress. So those are very common things that we all have. And those fears just always stop us from doing what we want to do. Now, for instance, imposter syndrome could come up with anything. Let's say, for example, I'm supposed to teach a class, and I'm thinking, let's say I want to teach a Japanese class. Yes, I am bilingual in Japanese and English, but do I know the language well enough to be able to teach it? Have I studied it enough to be able to teach it as a Japanese language teacher? Well, there may be the feeling like, oh, no, I'm an imposter. And I might get that feeling because I haven't done it before. But the truth of the matter is, I don't know. I don't know if that's really an imposter and that fact is, I know the language. If I studied it a little bit, it wouldn't be a problem. Another one would be, I used to take Japanese tea ceremony lessons. And we would have to demonstrate, and we would occasionally have people coming in to watch the actual ceremonies while we were practicing. And because this was being done at a museum, a Japanese museum and gardens. And we would be doing it, practicing, and sometimes I would make a mistake. And I would be like, oh! And then my teacher, my Japanese tea ceremony teacher, would always say to me, don't do that because the audience doesn't know if you made a mistake or not. Only you know it. And that is kind of like the imposter syndrome thing, because I feel like, oh, I'm an imposter if I say that I know what I'm doing. But I do know what I'm doing in comparison. So you're not an imposter. And I think we tend to forget that. And I think all of our fears come and get us more than anything. Stress. Well, it's going to be a little longer than usual, the small bites, but I just wanted to address stress because stress, for an instance, this happened to me this morning. I was scheduled to go in for an MRI for my brain because I injured my head, as some of you may know, actually late last year. And it was, I had a black and blue eye and all of that. And I had a bit of a concussion, we're not sure. But the neurologist wanted me to have an MRI just to make sure. But I've never had an MRI, and I was freaking out. Like, I don't know what this is. I'm a little claustrophobic, so I was like, am I going to get so scared that I'm going to freak out? So all of this, that was stress. And that was stress of the unknown. And that was stress and fear of the unknown. And sometimes when we don't know things, we anticipate these things that might happen. But in reality, when I did actually have it, I was totally fine. I live in New York, so what was the big deal about all this noise? I'm used to noise, and I'm very used to shutting out noise. So I was like, oh, well, I can do this. And the thing is, stress is caused by a lot of fear of what might happen. And I think we have to take into consideration, it didn't necessarily happen. That fear was not justified. And I think we have to think those things through. So these fears that we have, in this case, imposter syndrome and stress, we have to realize that these are things that may occur, not necessarily occur. And as you know, we always say, where focus goes is where energy flows. So we have to remember that when we're in this situation, we have to remember to think that, hey, maybe we should focus on the positives, not the negatives. So instead of focusing on, oh, people are going to think I'm a fraud, people are going to, think I'm no good, I'm being an imposter by saying I know what I'm doing. Instead of thinking that, or instead of thinking of what may happen, I might get claustrophobic, I might have a panic attack. Instead of thinking of that, think of what could happen, what it would be positive. So in my instance, it would have been, okay, I'd come through it knowing I'd be totally okay, or projecting or focusing on the fact that I'm going to be okay. So those things. So those are just some tips I wanted to bring out. I know this small bites became more of a small, meal instead of a bite, but I just wanted to address those two today. So on that note, nourish your brain, nourish your belly, nourish your soul, nourish all of you, and comment heart if any of this resonated with you, and any of your stress points or any of your imposter syndromes that you feel, put it out there. Let's talk about it, okay? So this is Coach Ayoy. I'm out. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.